When I was in ninth standard, I had to make a choice whether I would do science or humanities. And I was a good student of science and mathematics, and I loved mathematics. So my automatic choice was to choose for physics, chemistry, mathematics. But then the teacher who was actually conducting this interview suddenly told me, "George, you are blind, you can't see things right next to your eyes. How are you going to study mathematical concepts which are taught by writing on the board? How will you do your practicals? How do you deal with chemistry practicals? How do you deal with physics practicals?" And a whole lot of issues were raised, and I was pretty upset. And I was determined that I would, if not do science, I would definitely want to do mathematics. And it was very emotional at that point of time. I felt challenged, and I felt that just because I have an eye problem, I was being asked to humanities, which of course is not a bad option, but my choice was science. So finally we walked into the principal's office and we engaged with him, told him about what I wanted to do and so on. The principal was a good man, and he said that I will write to the Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan and see what can be done. He was open, and I think that's very important. So he came back to me after a week and said, there's one option that can be given, which is you can do history, economics and mathematics. And that was fair enough, because the main thing I wanted to do was mathematics. The choice was given to me, and I finished my school, and then I graduated in mathematics and did my MA in operations research. And in 1990, when I got into the domain of life with blindness, working with people, I suddenly realized that children who were visually impaired were not allowed or not given the opportunity of learning science and maths beyond class 8. This was compromising, because when you study mathematics, when you study science, it impacts the way your brain grows. And there are certain attributes of your thinking that gets evolved. For instance, if I were to say what were the attributes that I gained by studying mathematics, I think my logic sense, my ability to analyze, my ability to communicate precisely, these were all things that impacted my mind, I believe. And the fact of the matter is that there are people who have studied math who were extremely passionate and had tremendous drive. There is the case of Karthik Sawhney, who did maths from Delhi Public School and scored 96% in class 12, and today is studying at Stanford University. There is Pratish Datta, who is a gold medalist in IIT Kanpur, doing his PhD in cryptology, having studied mathematics till a very advanced stage. So study of mathematics is possible, study of science is possible. The process of teaching science and maths in our country, I feel, is extremely rigid. They insist on children learning science and performing in science exams and so on in a particular way. They expect you to do practicals, they expect you to learn from diagrams and stuff written on the blackboard. But if a certain amount of flexibility is brought in, the important thing is, has the student understood the concept? Is he able to use the concept and apply it? And for that, the question is it important to do practicals? If a person is blind and cannot do practicals himself, then he can always ask the lab assistant to work and do the experiment as per his instructions, and then get the lab assistants to read out the observations, and then use the observation to deduct conclusions. There is this young microbiologist working with the Manipal Hospital in Bangalore. He is a victim of acid that was thrown on him, and he went totally blind. But he continued to work as a microbiologist because he was thorough with his subject, and he would give instructions to his team to actually do the experiment or go through the procedure and give him the observations. And then he, based on his knowledge and his analysis, actually came up with findings which were very useful. Even as a blind microbiologist, he went on to present papers and contribute to the evolution of the subject of microbiology. So it's not very much about seeing, but it's about the flexibility with which you're allowed to work. So it is not about, the accent should not be on the process. We need to have flexibility. The accent should be on learning and allowing the person to grow in the subject rather than insisting that things have to be done in a particular way. Now the question is, are we taking the easy way out? Are we kind of saying, since we do not know how to teach mathematics without using the blackboard or without doing practicals, therefore blind and visually impaired children should not learn mathematics? Or is it the inability of blind children to learn mathematics? And I think that is the issue we need to address.